the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber, stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber, she's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber, cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, from sequins to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine gaze. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. It's Amber Live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy June, everyone. Happy Pride Month. Yes, it's Pride Month, and we've got a lot to talk about Pride, not just tonight, but for the rest of the month. But before we get started, make sure you want to like, share, and get over there and subscribe over there on amberlive.tv too. That way you'll know what's coming up. All right? All right. Well, it's been another week, and you know what? It's time for headlines. Italian artist Salvador Guerra has sold an invisible sculpture for $18,000. Let me repeat that. Italian artist Salvatore Guerra has sold an invisible sculpture for $18,000. You're not selling that art to a normal person. You have to be a real idiot to buy an invisible sculpture. And now this confirms everyone's secret realization that modern art is in the eye of the beholder, or imagination, perhaps. Russell, can we see a picture of this? Oh, right. I guess we can't. According to the artist, the sculpture is of the empty energy in this specific space. Yeah. Okay, buddy. I mean, I do lots of amazing invisible things too. Have you read my invisible novel? Or maybe have you met my invisible hunk of a husband? Huh? This isn't art. This is grift. Props to him. It's an original grift. Oh, please don't tell Trump you can sell invisible shit. All right, now, game night, a family tradition where families come together and get to know each other, right? Well, just don't play Monopoly. A recent study shows that the board game Monopoly leads to the most fights between friends and family. So, yeah, you weren't the only one to tell your granddad to die a violent death when he bankrupted you out of Park Place that one Thanksgiving. You know, it makes sense. Monopoly is awful. It's a board game about the absolute worst element of our economy. Your goal is to financially ruin everyone else. It also makes sense that the next 2 games put out by Parker Brothers were Sorry and Life. The Biden administration is doing cash and beer giveaways in order to get people vaccinated for the summer, because apparently surviving a global pandemic isn't good enough for Americans. Can we get any more dystopian in this country? We'll just turn every solution to our tragedies into some sad 4th of July mattress sale. Get vaxxed now and we'll throw in a new toaster. Try the vaccine out for 90 days, and if you still don't believe it works, we'll give you a full refund. But congrats to my fellow Vermonters. 82% of adults are now vaccinated. The best rate in the country. Thank you. Don Jr. is charging $600 for a personalized message from the website Cameo. My, how the grift has fallen. The Trumps were once at the top of their game, charging people for a fake university, a fake real estate empire, a fake charity to cancer patients and veterans, and even a fake presidency. But now, an overpriced video message from a coked up Don Jr. The Trump name used to stand for something, damn it. What's next? Selling invisible art? As mentioned earlier, it's June. It's Pride Month. Let the harassment begin. Last Sunday was a beautiful afternoon on Lake Moses in Washington State, when a boat that was flying the rainbow flags was suddenly the center of attention of another boat and its passengers. The second boat began circling the rainbowed bow, howling out anti-gay slurs. After circling the boat several times, the harasser's boat caught fire and then exploded. Guess who rescued the gay-hating Gilligans? Yep, the Rainbow Warriors. Hashtag karma is real. And that's this week's headlines. Hey, yes, what a week. Did you miss me last week? We didn't go live. We did 62 weeks in a row live every Sunday, but it was Memorial Day weekend, and so we decided we're going to take a week off. But we're back, so Russell, come on in.
Hey, Amber, welcome back.
Yes, oh my gosh. It seemed like it was really weird last Sunday going, what am I doing or what am I not doing?
It was weird, and it just sort of felt empty. And then I just said to Jack a couple minutes ago, I almost forgot how to do this with just a week off. I'm like, what buttons am I pushing?
Yeah, well, you push my buttons enough, that's for sure. Russell. So, Russell, we've got some new viewers tonight, so tell them where they should be watching the show.
Well, you should be watching this show on the YouTubes. That's our favorite place to watch because it's in full HD. You get a beautiful picture of Amber there. Thank you, Jack, for putting up the address. If you're not watching there, you can watch on Facebook or Twitch or any of the other places, but we recommend that you watch on YouTube. And as Amber said at the beginning, well, no matter where you're watching, but especially if you're on YouTube, if you could help us out by liking and subscribing, and there's even a little bell there that sends you a notification and lets you know when we go live.
Yes, and we go live. We've been going live every, for the past 22 weeks, 23, I don't know, on Wednesday nights with Amber Chat. And that's just an hour where Russell and I get on camera, and Jack joins us sometimes, and sometimes Rocco and other guests. And the other night we had people from Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Florida, and New York all chiming into conversations.
And don't forget our friend from London.
Oh, that's right, Vampy. Yeah, I don't know how
like
you
2
found
in
us.
the morning.
But it's fun. It's a fun time, and you can get on there and ask us any kind of questions you have, or talk about anything you'd like to. But we like to do that. And now it's time for Russell's favorite part of the show. Take it away.
Yes, the bustiers. Let's not forget our bustiers. We love them. These are the people who help us out and help keep this show running. You can become a bustier using Venmo at RJD Pro. It's right there. It's very important to pay for the software, to pay for all the other accessories, and the website. Everything that gets done costs money, and this helps keep us going. And we want to thank all our super bustiers and all of our bustiers on that list there. There's lots of them. And you can give any amount you can afford, but if you send $25 or more, we'll send you an Amber Live sticker. $100 or more, you get a sticker and a magnet. And if you send us $200 or more, you get a sticker, a magnet, and an Amber Live mug. And we really appreciate everyone who helps out. And again, the Venmo is at RJD Pro. So thank you to all our bustiers.
Yes, and that's another exciting list to look at, all the different places we know they're from. We have some from Tennessee, Florida, New York, Massachusetts, all supporting Amber Live. So we thank you very much. So, Russell, do we have a picture to caption this week?
We do, and every week we put up a funny picture. We'd like you to send us your funniest caption for it. You can send it in the comments to Jack, and tell him that it is a caption for our Caption This picture. So if you've got something funny to say about that, we want to hear it.
Oh, that's some things are going through my mind. That's for sure. So yeah, make sure you put in your caption and then make a funny comment in the comments. Thank you so much. So Russell, I don't know about things in New York, but last week in Vermont, it was like the doors just blew wide open. We don't have 100% activity yet, but pretty darn close. And on Friday night was the first Friday event. And that has a long tradition in Vermont as being a gay night of partying and higher ground. And Burlington City Arts created this outdoor space on Pine Street, and we had a great drag show hosted by Katniss and Emoji and several drag performers. And DJ Lou spent a couple hours playing dance music, and it was just so great to be out and seeing people. People were happy, smiling, and oh my goodness, it was just so great. And I want to thank Johnny McLaughlin for being my escort for the evening, and Bill Knight for taking some of those great pictures you're seeing. We'll be putting a little montage together later on. So thank you. But that was a fun night, and I'm looking forward to more. That's for sure. All right, and we said it's Pride Month, and we talk about Provincetown a lot because that's one of Russell and I's favorite places in all the world. Yes.
Amber, before we go on, I do want to show one more picture, and it's a special picture.
Okay.
It's of you and our friend Larry at First Friday. I wanted to make sure that got up there.
Yeah, Larry's our Florida friend.
Yeah, traveled all the way up from Florida and went to First Friday.
Yes, it was so good to spend a couple days with Larry. So I think he's down in Rutland tonight, so he's probably watching. So Larry, it was great seeing. So thank you. Yes, but so we talked a lot about Pride and Provincetown because that's one of Russell and I's favorite places in all the world. And we've got a special little clip to tell us about what's happening down in Provincetown right now. Show that.
Amber, darling, it's Trampolina. How are you? I'm here at the boat slip, right here on the dance floor. Mary Alice is ready to spin all the hits here as well all summer long. I wanted to let you know that Provincetown is wide and dandy open, I tell you. We're here doing little passes for our people in town today and for a few more days, so they can buy a pass for the summer. Isn't that fabulous? But everyone else is welcome. We'll be open for tea dance June 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then every day after June 11th and forward. So we're going to have a lot of fun here in Provincetown. The A House is open, Crown and Anchor, all the shows are open, and we've got some great new fabulous acts in town as well. So we welcome everyone to come from New England, New York, New Jersey. It's going to be so much fun to see everyone again. But more importantly, Amber, if we can see you, because we love seeing you at Carnival as well. So everyone, welcome. Don't forget your coronavirus vaccination cards are very important. And occasionally you might still need your mask, so bring something exciting and special. We'll look forward to seeing you then, and I'm signing off. Trampolina, nice to see you, Amber. Bye-bye. Mwah.
That is so cool. We met Trampolina a couple of years ago at Winter Rendezvous. She came up from Boston and helped me host a bingo event. And so she's going to be down in P-Town, and she's going to be sending us reports throughout the summer. So that is very exciting. So good to see her. Oh, wow. That's great. All right. So, Russell, who do we have on the show tonight?
We have a great lineup tonight. First up, we have Brian P. Griffin, who is going to come on. And I know you met him a number of years ago in Vermont, but he lives down in the New York area. And he's going to be talking about the New York Drag March that he's been heavily involved with, I believe. And you might even get him to talk a little bit about some of the things he does for work down here, because it's pretty interesting. So I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun chatting with him. And then after that, later on, we have a visit with both John Killacky and Taylor Small, who are going to catch us up on what's been going on in Vermont politics. Were there any fist fights? Or I think I heard you mention earlier it was all virtual this year, so everybody behaved. But that'll be a great way to hear what's going on. So those are the guests for tonight, along with our regulars. She's back. We have Lucy Bell again. I know everybody loves her. And I think Rocco may be stopping by from a different state than he's usually in. And I don't just mean confused. So,
who knows?
So
It's
have
Rocco.
a great show. Yeah,
All right,
who
thank
knows?
you. We'll see you
Have a
later on in
great
the show.
show.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we've got a lot coming up, so stick around and tell your friends what you're doing tonight. All right, so yes, my first guest, I met Brian. Oh my gosh, I think we said 10 or 11 years ago. He came up from New York for Winter Rendezvous. That's the largest gay ski weekend on the East Coast that the House of LeMay goes down and hosts events and have a lot of fun. But Brian's been a good friend ever since. So, and he's got some things to talk about. So, Brian Griffin, come on in my basement. Hello there. Hi, Brian.
Excited to be here.
Good. So we got a lot of things to talk about, but how are things in New York? How are you feeling going out and about?
Well, I don't know about New York because I've just spent the last week down in the luxurious Southern Poconos at the Woods Campground for their Memorial Day weekend event. And then this last weekend was Leather One. They have 3 leather weekends. And so Leather One, and
Why not?
at one of the pop-up boutiques, I bought this glamorous leather crown.
Ooh.
And it's my favorite new thing, so I figured I would wear it tonight.
Very nice. And you were in Dollywood last week too, weren't you?
Yes, I've just been on vacation because I am lack of work laid off, so I might as well get out of town.
Yes, well, good. Well, I'm glad you were able to join us tonight. So one of the things we wanted to talk about was the drag march about New York City. Can you tell me a little bit of history on that?
Well, 27 years ago, at the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall riots,
I was there.
The organizational committee for that was from all over the United States, but none of them were from New York. And unfortunately, they were what I call the assimilationists. And they put out a press release that they didn't want anyone showing up in drag or in leather, so as to create a palatable image for the Midwest or all of those flyover states. I know I'm not supposed to use that term as a New Yorker, but I was friends with Gilbert Baker, friends with benefits with Gilbert Baker, the gentleman who created the rainbow flag. And we were sitting in his shop, or the makeshift shop, because he was sewing a mile-long rainbow flag for the celebration. And he was the one who actually said, we should throw a drag march, because we were all furious about this. And my brain flashed. And because I had done so much organizing with ACT UP, I knew exactly how to make a drag march happen. So I turned to him and I said, we're going to have a drag march. And 6 months later, boom, or actually it was like 5, at that point we were maybe 4 or 5 months out. I just put out like 2,000 flyers that were like little Christian tracts. They said, Jesus loves drag. And then I listed it in every single one of the Pride, before they got printed, every single one of the Pride publications. And we ended up with, I think I want to say 12,000 people on the Friday night before Stonewall 25, marching from the East Village to the Stonewall. And it was queens from all over. It got written up. There was an article in the New York Times that called it the most authentic Stonewall reunion or Stonewall anniversary event.
Wow.
And so it's been continued. We then, well, let's do it again. Let's do it yearly. Let's turn the drag march into something. Because at that point, we didn't have the Trans Awareness Day, which actually is the same Friday. That happens earlier in in Washington Square Park. And then a number of those individuals come over and do the drag march with us. But at that point, that didn't happen. And so there you have it. That's the origin story in a nutshell.
Oh my gosh, I remember that weekend so well because we went down early because the International Gay Games were happening that week before that, and we had a volleyball team from Vermont, so we were there. And I don't know if you remember all this, but on that Friday night of Stonewall weekend, the New York Knickerbockers were in the NBA playoffs, the Rangers were in the hockey playoffs, the World Cup was in town, the Gay Games were in town. It was the 25th anniversary of Stonewall, and it was the night that OJ did his Bronco escape. I mean, the world was bonkers that night. It was just so exciting.
Well, and coupled with the gay games, they had a cultural festival. And
Yes.
so another one of my groups is known as the Church Ladies for Choice. For about 22 years now, we've been dressing up as church ladies and defending abortion clinics. When they back in the 90s, the early 90s, they actually blockaded clinics. It was before they started shooting abortion doctors. Sorry. And so we would dress up as church ladies and basically not let them blockade clinics. And so that was some of the organizing that I did that gave me kind of like the chutzpah to think that I could throw a drag march. But the Church Ladies for Choice were part of the cultural festival. We got up on stage and got to sing downtown to, I think, about 10 people, tens of tens, at our concert.
So will the march take place again this year?
Yes, it's always if Pride is the last Sunday of June, the march is the Friday. Evening. We meet at Tompkins Square Park, Avenue A and 9th Street. We meet at 7 p.m. We get into the park, and then the Radical Fairies call out the corners, which is a kind of ritual. As a theater person, I call it lifting the curtain. This is what sets the stage. But calling out of corners is basically calling out the spirits of the East, West, South, and North and having them bless and transform the event into a sacred space. So that's why I consider it raising the curtain. And then we march to the Stonewall. We have all kinds of rituals that have, over the years, have kind of like built themselves in. Like when we cross over Fifth Avenue, we always sing the Mary Tyler Moore song. And when we cross over 7th, we sing the Stonewall Girls song. We are the Stonewall Girls. We wear our hair in curls. We wear no underwear. We show our pubic hair.
Very good. Well, that's exciting. That's really, really good, and it's just a good tradition to have. And congratulations for being a part of it. I just wanted to show a couple pictures that of some of our meetings in Winter Rendezvous. That's you and Lucy Bell and our good friend JJ there with his unicorn hat on. I think that was a bowling night. And there you are in part of the drag downhill ski race, and you were always a great participant in that and won several years. And there's several of the other contestants as well. There you are, Lucy Bell and I, but JJ, Matt Benedetto, and several other.
That's Sister Mary Enterprise going where no nun has gone before.
Very good. Well, Brian, we'll have you back on because I do want to talk about your work because you've got some fascinating things going on. But stick around because I want you to come back and I want you to ask our other guests some questions. Okay. So thank you very much, Brian. Nice seeing you. Love the crown. Isn't that nice history? I love the history of it all. And he helped, or he did it. He put it together. All right. I know we've been getting some comments. Where's Lucy Bell? Where's Lucy Bell? Well, she's back, and what's she got cooking in the kitchen this time? I don't know.
Bitchin' in the kitchen with Lucy Bell.
Hey, Lucy Bell LeMay here with another episode of Bitchin' in the Kitchen, coming to you from the Hot Down Trailer Park in Beaver Pond, Vermont. It's Pride Month, so happy Pride, everybody. And last year we didn't get to do it, so this year we have to double up on our partying. Yes, I can't wait to get out there and start partying and drinking with everybody. Not that I'm going to share my alcohol, but I'll be glad to drink along with everybody. Yes, speaking of, why don't we make us a cocktail for today? I'm going to do iced coffee because it's been so warm and I've just been saving my old coffee. Just put it in the fridge. Today, we're going to use sprinkles on the glass. Look at that. So festive. Let's start with a little rum chata. Can't beat rum chata. Yeah, let's just put some in there. And then we'll pour us a little Irish cream. That's always good. And now we're just going to add a little coffee. Give it a good stir. Oh, and a little taste of vanilla extract. We just, put a little bit behind the ear, always for a little smell. Here we go. Ah, these are so refreshing. Very good. We are going to be making a nice little pride treat. Yes, it's got all the colors of the rainbow and then some. So what I'm doing is just melting a half a stick of butter and a 10-ounce bag of marshmallow. There we go. Over medium heat. Now, while the marshmallows and stuff continue to cook, they're not turning that on. Get that on fire. I know where the fire extinguisher is. Just gonna let this melt real good. And then we're gonna add 4 cups of Fruity Pebbles. Yes. Got a 9 by 13 dish. We're gonna butter that real good to put all this in so it doesn't stick. Okay, this is almost melted enough. And I just turned the heat off so the heat can stay off for now, because all we got to do now is just add our Fruity Pebbles. Here they go. No snap, crackle, pop there. Just mix it real good. Just get it good and coated. Ooh, so nice and juicy. Yow! And that marshmallow is hot. Yeah. Oh, it smells so fruity. I wish you could smell it. I wish you could just scratch and sniff right now. I guess you could scratch and sniff. And we're going to just dump this right into this buttered dish. And then just take your spatula and just pat it down real good, evenly out in the pan. And we're going to stick this in the fridge and let that cool for about 30 minutes or so. But I have some ready for us already. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? So nice and colorful. It's a wonderful, wonderful treat to go along with your iced coffee in the morning. It's very good. So fruity. Very fruity. Good. Well, I guess my bitch this week would have to be those damn cicadas. Jesus. They keep you up all night long. And just, some people say, oh, it's so relaxing, so refreshing. It's like, no. Can't even close the window. I think some of them are getting inside the trailer myself. But you can have your cicadas. I'm glad they only come once every 15 years. Gosh, that's terrible. Have somebody only come once every 15 years. Well, you guys stay safe. And please get your vaccine if you can, okay? Because, hey, 80% of Vermont's already there. So let's get it, okay? Stay safe, respect one another, and be kind. Bye-bye.
Lucy, yes, you sent some to me, and they are good. Thank you, Lucy. So Lucy Bell's coming down to Burlington next week, and we're going to walk Church Street for the Jazz Festival. So we'll have pictures next week to show that. Hold on. Russell, come on in. Let me chew my food.
Oh, sure. You won't try it McRib, but you'll put those things in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, they were good. Ooh, Lucy's good. Thank you, Lucy Bell. All right, Russell, we have coming up, we have John Killacky and Taylor Small from the Vermont Legislature, and Rocco, and then Jack coming on talking about the caption. So let's show that picture one more time.
Yes, let's not forget the caption. There it is. If you've got a funny comment for that photo, send it into Jack, label it as a caption for the photo, and we'll show the funniest ones at the end of the show.
Yes, very good. All right.
And then let's not forget about our bustiers, very good friends who help keep this show running. They are all very important to us, and we'd like to thank you. And anyone who would like to become a bustier, you can see there's Venmo at RJD Pro. You can send us your support that way. And speaking of support, we do have a little message from our sponsor.
Hey, it's Lucy Bell. Have you visited the Amber Live store to get your own amazing Amber Live merch? Just visit amberlive.tv. and you can see all the incredible items we have for you. Regular coffee mugs, large coffee mugs, and even magic coffee mugs. T-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, tote bags, and even beach towels. Y'all, they make great gifts for your friends. I've got mine. Just visit the Amber store at amberlive.tv and order yours today.
Thank you, Lucy Bell. Yes, order some new merch. I know you're probably tired of drinking out of those coffee mugs this whole year, so you need some new coffee mugs. Yeah, so get an Amber LeMay Live coffee mug. All right, so now it's time for my top 5 of the week, and the top 5 things are what I'm going to do for June, Pride Month. So number 5, I'm wishing that Vermont Pride was in June instead of September. Yeah, I do. Number 4, summer dresses, no pantyhose. It's hot out, even here in Vermont. Yeah, it was up to close to 90 today. Number 3, rainbow everything. And boy, do I have a lot of rainbows. Number 2, remembering the first Pride Parade was a riot. Yes, it was. And finally, the number 1 thing I'll be doing for Pride Month is being grateful. It's the first Pride Month in 4 years, acknowledged by the person sitting in the White House. Thanks, Joe. Thank you very, very much. All right. So we want to find out what's been going on in the Vermont State Legislature. So we're welcoming back guests from previous shows, and that's Representative John Killacky and Representative Taylor Small. So hello there, people. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. All right. So the legislature session ended last week, and it was the first time in history that it was all done virtually. Now, John, this was your second or third term?
Second term.
So how was that working? You've had the chance.
Well, it was a little bit like Saturday Live skits. Sometimes people would forget to turn off their cameras and get up and fix lunch for themselves. It was a little bizarre, and sometimes people should have muted, because if someone said something they didn't like, they would say something out loud, and they could be heard by everybody.
That never happened to you, John, did it?
Oh, no. I mute most of the time. But you know what, Amber, the highlight for me is serving with Taylor. This was her first term, and it was extraordinary. And we got to do some negotiating behind the scenes we'll talk about in a minute that was profound, that changed housing. And it was so great to work with Taylor. I just the audience who doesn't realize, Taylor Small was the first transgendered representative elected in Vermont, and my hat off to you, my wig off to you, and one of the few in the country. And you've just been receiving all these accolades and recognition from everywhere, and just congratulations, Taylor. Thank you for being you and being here with us.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And John, the feeling is mutual. I really could not have gotten through this first year without you and doing this work. Looking at the history that Vermont made this year and having our largest LGBTQ caucus yet, with I think it's 14 out members in our House and Senate, and so many more feeling more comfortable coming out because of that level of representation.
So 14, there's not a lot of representatives. What's the total representatives and Senate put together?
180.
180, well, 14. That has to be one of the largest percentages in the country, because I know Pennsylvania only has 2.
And our Senator Pro Temp, the head of the Senate, is a dyke on a bike, okay? Becca Ballant is a motorcycle girl. So she's on there with her bike. So it's pretty profound.
It really is. It really is.
And, I'm a little older. And so for me to have lived through this is actually quite profound. I was in San Francisco in 1978 when Harvey Firestein was assassinated, who was one of our first.
Harvey Milk.
Harvey Milk. Yes, Harvey Milk was assassinated. And that was one of our first elected legislators who was out. In Minnesota, Karen Clark was in 1981. In Vermont, 1990 was Ron Squires.
Unfortunately, Ron died of AIDS in '93, and Bill Lippert came in, and he has been the longest-serving out legislator from 1994.
Yes.
Now, Taylor and I have to use the word out legislator because we're not sure in previous generations or even currently if people are comfortable being out. You know, so even though we have 14, it's kind of amazing how some people still want to be quiet, closeted, afraid, feared. But, you know, to think about, you know, Joseph McCarthy hearings in the 50s, gay people were targeted. They couldn't work for the government. I moved to New York in '71. You couldn't be a teacher. You couldn't be out. You had no landlord protection. You could be fired from any job. The police would not protect us. You know, it's just amazing what's happened in our lifetime. And I checked right before we came on, and there's a Victory Institute that supports queer candidates. And there are 986 out legislators in this country.
Wow. That is really something. And you talked about Ron Squires and Bill Lippert and all that. And Vermont was one of the first states to start granting gay, lesbian, bisexual, all the rights that we have now. We led the country in several of those laws and protections, and it just makes Vermont such a great place to be. So Taylor, I know you pushed through, you got one of your first bills passed. I mean, as a first-year legislature, excuse the expression, that takes balls.
It does.
So tell me about the bill and how did that happen?
So the bill was named H128, but now a law, Act 18, which effectively banned the LGBTQ plus panic defense in the state of Vermont. And so the first time that the panic defense really came on and caught national recognition was the murder of Matthew Shepard back in 1998. And it was an unashamed killing and murder of an openly gay man. And so what we see across our nation is an increase in violence against the LGBTQ plus community, and in particular, trans women and trans women of color, to the effect that the Human Rights Commission, or Human Rights Campaign, I should say, has actually said for the past 3 years that it was the deadliest year in the United States for trans people. For the last 3 years in a row, we've only seen a growing list of violence across our nation. And so I think what is most astounding in the state of Vermont is that we're also in a year where we're seeing trans identities targeted across our nation. There's over 100 bills that have been introduced in this year alone across our nation, targeting trans people, and in particular, trans youth. But in Vermont, we didn't have to deal with that. There was no pushback against the trans community. Instead, we looked at the breadth and depth of the LGBTQ community and said, you should never be blamed for a crime that is committed against you, especially when it is due to your identity. And to see that passed unanimously, I have to say, was the warmest welcome I could ask for coming into this year.
All right, so we have Governor Scott, who's a Republican, who's done a wonderful job with the COVID. You know, that's just great with that. So how was your interaction with him on this bill?
Well, I have to say, because we weren't in person, I didn't have much interaction with him in particular.
Oh, wait a minute. Governor Scott gave Taylor the pen that he signed the bill for. Oh, I've never gotten a pen from the governor. Okay, she gets a pen. So come on now.
Well, I got it in the mail, you know, and I mean, not to keep pushing on it, but he also did do a public video signing for it as well, where he gave recognition. So though it wasn't in person, it was still just such a warm interaction with the governor. And again, in a year where we're seeing other Republican governors having to step up against their, I don't want to say against their party in particular, but there is a lot of divisiveness happening. So to see just such a strong support for our community was just amazing, amongst all the other things. He did also veto, you know, something for my dear city. So we have a balance, you know.
Well, it's very interesting that he did a video signing of that bill. Just think back when Governor Dean signed the civil union law, he did it away from everybody. There was no public viewing of it at all. And he was a Democrat. And yet we have a Republican who's proud and out signing that bill.
Well,
Congratulations, Taylor.
The other thing is when Taylor said, it was unanimous in both chambers, that doesn't happen very often. And that is really testament to Taylor. She came in and she, in a very quiet way, educated people. And when people get to know somebody, who they are, they have less fear around things. And so we have progressives, we have Democrats, we have independents, we have very conservative Republicans as well. It was all unanimous. So there really was a great testament to Taylor and the teaching that we all learned from her and others in the journey.
So John, in the past, if you're working on a bill, you could grab someone off and take them off to the corner and talk to them about it. Now, or they could avoid you. they could see you coming and run the other way. I would think that in the days of the Zoom, it's pretty hard to ignore you, and that you really have to talk. Is that true? Or?
Well, it depends on, I would say, who it is. If I needed to talk to Taylor, I could text her, and she would, no matter what we were doing on the floor, she would text me right back about something. So some strategy worked really well through text. And we also, we all have a lot of caucuses, the Social Equity Caucus, the Women's Caucus, the Climate Caucus. There's the Workers' Caucus. There's many. And so we have those affinity groups that we work with. And in a way, Zoom helped build a kind of cohort of intention in those. And so we were able to lobby in a different way and sometimes more effectively versus one-on-one in having lunch or something. But it did mean that we were on Zoom from about 7:30 in the morning till about 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Yes.
So how do you see that going into the next session? Hopefully you'll be in person. Do you see more Zooming going on, committee work, or will it all just be in person?
Taylor and I are going back on June 24th for a veto session, hopefully to override the veto that the governor vetoed about Winooski, and that people have the right to vote there, as well as Montpelier, who are non-citizens. And that's my birthday, Taylor, so you better make a big fuss that day.
Oh, I can't wait.
but you're warned. but so anyway, we'll be on Zoom then. But in January, we'll be back in person. And it'll be fun to be back in person. It'll be, it's really so grand to sit there in that big hall.
Yes. So on a scale of 0 meaning it really sucked to 10 meaning I got everything I wanted accomplished, where would you put this last session?
Taylor, you first.
Okay, well, I would say again, in a very unique year, I would put us at an 8 or 9 in the work that we were able to accomplish together. I mean, between, again, as John alluded to earlier, we were able to work across our committees and talking about looking at housing and how we can expand access to housing, a growing issue that we know is in the state of Vermont, as well as looking in terms of housing as healthcare and seeing how that can grow and develop here in our state. And I mean, we took some really key issues to task, such as broadband expansion with some support of some federal funds. We were able to expand childcare financial assistance programs so that more people would be able to get back into working after such a rough year and know that they won't have to pay more than 10% of their salary and being able to get their kids into affordable and equitable childcare. And of course, being able to pass bills that not only protected and affirmed the rights of LGBTQ Vermonters, but also I really appreciate the fact that we were able to declare racism as a public health emergency, and understanding that COVID really highlighted or shone a light on the ways that our systems were not equitably supporting folks across the state and across our nation. And taking that intentional effort moving in through this year and into our next legislative session and saying, how can we do better in making Vermont a welcoming space for everyone?
Wow. And John, how would you rate this session?
Well, there were some great achievements. There were some disappointments in bills we were working on. But I think the most profound moment for me was on March 31st, which was the 90th anniversary of when Vermont signed into law in 1931 a bill, the eugenics movement started officially, with that it really encouraged sterilization of people that were deemed unfit in Vermont. And so that was poor people, people of color, it was people with disabilities, it was our Abenaki tribes. It was such a dark part of our history. And so we as a legislature formally apologized. And it took 90 years to recognize that. And even though it was symbolic, it was really important to really own the issues and the trauma and the multi-generational trauma that's happened because of that. So that was very important. I sit on general housing and military affairs, so we deal with alcohol, sports betting, National Guard. We strengthened some unions, which is important to me. We had a rental registry that we had, and it was the last day of the session that we didn't get it across back to the Senate. So that's in abeyance right now, but it's a biennium, so we can either do it at the veto session later this month or in January. So I hope that works. So
great.
It's the long game.
So what's your goal for the second part of the session or your term next January? Anything special?
I would say the big one on my list is looking at our education funding system. And so this year we put a task force into place. I know, I like the complex things here, Amber. We put a task force into place to see how we can implement equitable student weighting. I won't get into the complicated education fund, but know that there are some much needed changes in there that I'm hoping that we're able to achieve in the next session that will distinctly benefit Winooski and a majority of our rural towns and cities across the state.
Wow. And John, do you have a project you have coming up?
$15 an hour. We are getting $15 an hour, changing the minimum wage. Homeless Bill of Rights is really important to me. Expanding recovery homes is also very important to me. So if I can work on those three things, I will be very happy.
Well, thank you so much. You both of you just represent your constituents so well, and I'm very proud to be a Vermonter and have you two speaking for us in the State House. Thank you. Thank you.
I love you, Amber, as you know.
Don't tell Larry.
He's watching, I'm sure. So he's fine.
All right. Well, thank you. So I want to bring Brian back in, and I want to know. Oh, Brian's got a new hat on. All right. So, Brian, you've been listening to this. Do you have any questions for John or Taylor?
No. I'm not a legislator. I'm a welder. I'm in theater. I'm not a Oh, yes. Sorry.
No. Do you have a question?
We were all talking about the gay games and things. I lived in New York earlier than you, Brian, but I was one of the original members of the Front Runners, which was the gay running club. And it was 1982, we ran in the gay games, and I ran the marathon. And it was going to be called the Gay Olympics, but the Olympic Committee sued, and Tom Waddell was the guy leading it from San Francisco, and we couldn't use the name. It was just outrageous. So it was the first gay games. So,
very good.
I'm just an old queen, okay?
I just wanted to add, when I originally moved to New York, one of the reasons, a friend gave me a book called Gay Spirit by Mark Thompson. If you can find a copy, it's a beautiful book, but it was all about the Mattachine Society and the Radical Fairies and the Coquettes and the Angels of Light and the Church Lady, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. And I wanted to do all of this in New York, and none of them were there yet when I moved. And so that's one of the reasons I created the Church Ladies for Choice. So that, and I thought it's New York, it's politics. But in terms of politics, legislature, I'm a welder.
Yes. So Cousin Craig wants to know if the $15 an hour will be a raise for you people, for you legislature.
Craig, you must have been listening when Taylor and I said we were on Zoom calls from 7:30 in the morning until 7:30 at night. So you do the math, honey. Okay.
All right. That's another thing. So it is just a part-time legislature. So Taylor, what do you do the rest of the year?
I go back to my work at the Pride Center of Vermont, where I'm the director of the Health and Wellness Program. So working on health equity for LGBTQ folks across the state.
All right. And John, what fills your time?
Well, I this afternoon sent to the book designer a book of mine that's coming out in the fall. It's called Because Art. So, and it's essays I've written, critiques of artists, as well as interviews with artists like Tony Kushner and Alison Bechtel and people. So it'll be out in October.
All right. Well, you'll be back on the show to talk about that, if not other things as well. All right. Well, I want to thank Happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride Month, and celebrate the way you can. And we'll be talking. So thank you so much for being a part of tonight's show. Very special episode.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, John. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank
You
you.
do wonderful things for your communities. Thank you. Oh my goodness, that is just so nice. If all the politicians were that understanding, that willing to talk, wouldn't the world be a better place? Yes, it would be. All right. So I'm not sure if I saw Russell in the green room or Russell. I saw Russell, but Rocco, yes, I think Rocco is in the green room or he's somewhere. Rocco.
Hey, Amber, how you doing?
Fine. Where are you, Rocco?
I'm in the attic. Go figure.
What attic? Any particular one?
Yeah. You see, we're trying to sell my mother's house, and I'm trying to get shit out of the attic. Stuff I had up here for years. I don't even know what it is.
Oh, I bet you there's some treasures.
Oh, there's some treasures, all right. Hey, look who's been hanging around. Did you see that?
No. What was that?
Jesus Christ. I got to hold up everything. Where is he?
There he is. Okay.
Christ is in the attic. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but there it is. So what have you been up to?
Oh, it's been beautiful weather up here in Vermont. You know, it's getting a little warm, but that's okay. I can take that.
It's pretty freaking hot up here in the attic, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet. So that must be a chore that a lot of people our age is having to do, is to empty their parents' houses. So you think that would be a lesson to you? Yeah.
It's depressing, interesting, and, a pain in the ass.
How long did you live in that house?
They moved here in '96. So, a while. It's a beautiful house. Let me tell you.
Did you live in the house?
I lived here for a few months when I needed a place to stay. All right, you got a problem with that?
No, I'm just curious if you had any emotional connection with the house other than the items and it being your parents.
Well, this is a place that we came to for a nice retreat because it's a big, beautiful house on the water. It was great. My father used to have a boat in the backyard. Let me show you where the backyard is. Look at this. It's like I'm a realtor trying to sell a house.
What body of water is that?
This is a lagoon, but it goes out to Barnegat Bay in Jersey, all right? So anyway, I dug up a lot of treasures and, so I've been sitting out here a little bit, checking out the boat and stuff.
That looks like a party house.
It is a party house. Russell knows. He's been here. He's had some, I don't know if he's had a fun time here, but he's been here. Anyway, here's something I found in the attic that you might be interested in. Check this out. This is the disco ball from Studio 54. Not the one that they had on the dance floor so much as in the men's bathroom. Every time you flushed, it would spin. It was so cool. I don't know if you ever been, but
No, I was never there. Were you in Studio 54?
I was young, but they let me in because they were like, "Hey, Rocco, I don't care if you're sick. Come on in." And
So
I went in there and I had fun.
how did you get the disco ball?
I got my ways, being a little precocious, as you say. You grease a few palms, get people some free lollipops and stuff. You get what you want.
All right. So it's June. It's Pride Month. Rocco, do you have any ways to celebrate Pride?
Basically, I'm going to celebrate it the way I celebrate it all the time, by embracing everybody, especially my LBGQTQ, all those letters people, because I love them. They're some of the best people I ever met. They're so much fun. Let me tell you something about straight people. Holy crap, are they boring. Hey, let's get some light beer and hang out and play pool. What? No.
So are you there in that house by yourself, Rocco?
Yeah, but I'm just here for a few hours because, I got other things to do. I wanted to go in the attic and take some stuff out and bring it somewhere else.
Okay. I just would like to verify that is your parents' house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's not just some random house I stumbled upon when I noticed they haven't been home for a while.
It looks good to me, Rocco. Well, you have a good week, and hope to talk to you on Wednesday for Amber Chat. We missed you this week.
I know. You know what they say? Shit happens when life gets in the way or something like that.
That's right.
I can't take it. Hey,
Well, take
by
care.
the way, remember, next week, guess where I'm going to be?
Memphis?
Memphis, that's right. So didn't you have friends who live in Memphis?
Yes. I believe they're watching tonight. So,
Hey, guys, give me a call. Get in touch with me. We'll go have some drinks. I'm serious.
you'd like them. They're very nice people. They're very nice people. All right, Rocco. We'll travel safely.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll see you later. All right.
Bye-bye, Rocco. Rocco Zamboni, everyone. Yay, Rocco. Hey, Jack, come on in.
Here I am.
Jack, I'm already getting comments, where's Rusty? Where was Rusty tonight? And I said, well, Rusty didn't get enough fan mail to come back. So
I know. Well, you've got the Wednesday crowd all riled up. They were like, we want peen. There's not enough peen in our lives. So Rusty's really hit it over with the Wednesday crowd. But
so how are the
I think that
comments?
he's passed out in a trailer somewhere. So he's been kind of incapacitated for the past couple of weeks.
All right. So how's the comments tonight?
Oh, we had some good ones. Russell, let's see that picture again of people looking in a hole. That hole over there. Not just any hole. Kim says, Bugs Bunny just went down there. Knew he took a wrong left turn at Albuquerque. And Big J says, somebody's poisoned the water hole. We got Kim, who also said that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles jumped down this hole after going after Shredder. And I told you guys not to eat the beans. This is what happens when you fart and there's gas. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Gary says, hello down there. When we told you to go to hell, we didn't mean it this way. And Johnny dropped his phone.
Well, that probably has happened.
And Kim says, hello, hell. You can have your damn heat back.
I got a phone message from our friend Shar in Sacramento, and she said, Joe Manchin, is this where you plan to filibuster? It's appropriate.
Yeah, that's one way to fill a hole.
Yes.
And Cousin Craig rounds it out by saying, Joe, the repo guy's gone. You can come out now.
Joe who? That's what we need to know.
Just a Joe. Random Joe.
Just a Joe. Random Joe.
And that's all I got for the caption comments, but Chrissy B says that Taylor owes him a shot.
That's a funny story that I'll have to relate to Taylor and see how true that is.
That's one for Amber Over Hours.
Yes.
Hey, Kim.
All right. So you were talking about you went roller skating again today.
I go roller skating as often as I can. It's tricky we had 90-degree weather here in New York today, so it was pretty hot. I could only do it for so long before I felt like, this is probably not going to be safe, and I could pass out from dehydration. So, working on distance stuff, some spinning stuff, some dancing stuff, a little bit of everything. Just trying to round everything out.
We want a video. We gotta have it.
Oh, that will happen. That will absolutely happen.
Great. Let's bring Russell in and find out what Russell's up to. Russell.
So,
Russell, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Amber, as always. I did want to take a moment and, there's
these are my skate wheels.
And they look like Homer donuts.
Yeah, they're Homer donuts. Sprinkles on them.
I do want to confirm that Rocco and I took a trip to Jersey, Vegas, otherwise known as Atlantic City, and we did stay overnight at his parents' house, and that actually is his parents' house. So he is not in a stranger's house taking items from their attic, although he may be doing that to the next door neighbors. I don't know.
So I really hope that there's a needle point of that Rocco quote somewhere. Shit happens when life gets in the way. Or some shit.
Not right. We'll have to get one made.
Sweet Home, or Homer's Where the Heart Is. But
all right. So Russell, what we have coming up next week?
Next week we have two more great guests, and they are both Pride related in different ways. One of them is from Rutland area, and she's going to be coming on. I believe her name is Carly Haver, and she's going to tell us all about the Rutland Pride Car March that's happening. I believe at the end of June. They're having a decorate your car and drive it from Rutland to somewhere. I don't know all the details, but she's got pictures of last year's march, and it should be a lot of fun. And then,
I hear a lot of good things are happening in Rutland at the event that we saw Friday night that Taylor and I were both at. There were a lot of the drag performers were from Rutland, so things are happening down there in Rutland, Vermont.
And they probably all have cars. So. Well, some of them. And then our other guest next week will be from GOAL, the Gay Officers Action League here in New York City, and they're going to come on and talk about a little bit of controversy and give their side to the story of the ban of police officers from marching in the Pride Parade this year.
Oh, so it's June, so there's fighting amongst the gays.
Yes, always a controversy.
Oh yes, you can count on that, and that's great for next week. We got other Pride related guests coming up throughout the month, and I just want to congratulate Jo Nagel, who today was crowned Miss Vermont. She will go on into the Miss USA and possibly the Miss Universe pageant. But she's a friend of ours, and she's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. So exciting to hear about her pageant experience. She's quite something. She's a hockey player and a beauty queen. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with her.
She's actually she's a hockey coach, right?
Yeah, but she played hockey a lot and in college, and she's quite the person. So
maybe she can give me some skating pointers.
And she still has all her teeth, Jack.
Even better.
She's about 2 feet taller than you, Jack.
Great. These are all good things.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Great show. Great guest. So thank you very much. Have a good week. And we'll see you Wednesday. Yes. All righty. It's good to be back. I missed you people last week. I missed doing this. Just the interaction that we've had with the great guests. And I hope you enjoy it too, because what else are we going to do on a Sunday night? All right. So next week, we've got lots to talk about. Have a good week. Stay cool. Celebrate Pride, be safe, and if you know anybody who hasn't got vaccinated yet, get them to do it, all right? All right, see you next Sunday. I'm going to be here. Hope you will be too. Bye-bye.
Did you think Rocco was funny tonight?
I always think he's funny. He's the best part of the show.
I think you might be biased.
How so?
Well, I think you might have your nose in Rocco's butt.
It's more likely he has his hand in mine.